Well, welcome everyone to tonight to about how to sell on eBay. Who here on this room has not sold anything on eBay on their whole entire life? Quite a few. All right. So who here has got over, I'd say, 1,000 feedback?
Nearly.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Okay. So the people who've got experience, I do ask that you take, if you could, take a little bit of time after tonight. If anyone asks you questions, please get a little bit of time, because we all start off at the beginning, and I do believe truly in the law of abundance, so that I believe there is enough to go around for everybody. All right, so let's get rock and rolling. So tonight's all about how to sell on eBay. The slides will be available tonight to everyone, so you don't have to write everything down. I'll give you a link at the end of tonight where you can download the slides. Nothing is ever allowed to be sold at these events, whether I'm presenting or anyone else. No one is allowed to sell any products. Anyone's got a firm grip on their credit card, you can release it, because there'll be nothing sold at any of these events. Okay, so our vision, our purpose for these events is simply this: to help more people build online businesses, to enjoy the freedom that the internet gives us. Like, most of us are all brought up to believe that the only way to succeed in life was to do good at school, go to university, get a job, work till you're 65, play bowls and die. We don't have to do that. We can actually work from home or from anywhere else. So, like I mentioned here, if you're a full-time seller, please take a little bit of time out for everyone else. Okay, so who am I? For those who don't know my story, I started selling or wholesaling and importing over 30 years ago. I started selling online in 1998. I started building eBay businesses pretty much out of desperation, because I was a single father, divorced, and I didn't want to go get a job. So I started looking around for alternatives to getting a job, and the online, as it was emerging back then, because it was only very, very new, that's my chosen, and that's what I chose to do. So that's kind of my story. We started off in Sydney. We now live 4 hours north of Sydney on a farm, and we don't have any inventory or staff on the whole property. So it's all done virtually. I'm going to go through tonight about how to do all that. Now, all right, so if I use any words tonight that you guys aren't used to, please tell me, because I've been doing this for quite a while now, and you do get used to using certain words and you forget that other people don't have a clue what you're talking about. So if I use words you don't know, please ask. There's no stupid questions, there's no silly questions. If I'm at an event, I don't understand something, I'm the idiot at the front with his hand up asking all the stupid questions, because I know these little questions is what glues the whole thing together. So please, any questions, please ask. And a lot of people come to me and say, "But Neil, I've never done this before." Well, welcome to the rest of humanity. We're all born blank. None of us knew this stuff. So, as it says here, if you want something you've never had before, you must be willing to learn something new. It's amazing times people tell me that. And of course, it's all about baby steps, little tiny, tiny, tiny steps to achieve the result you want to get. Okay, so tonight, how to sell on eBay. Let's start with why an eBay business. Work from home. You can work from coffee shops all over the planet. Yesterday I spent the whole day at Sydney Airport because they cancelled my 7 a.m. flight, and then they rebooked me on a 3:30, which then ended up leaving it after 4. So I spent my whole day working from my computer at the coffee shops at Sydney Airport. And you can do this from literally anywhere on the planet. Can be 99% automated, built in your spare time. $8 billion marketplace worldwide. It's 177 million active users. I'll show you the graphs in a second to show this data. Zero startup costs, as I'll show you tonight, how you can get going, start with zero money. Flexible hours, access to over 177 million active users from your PC and from your favourite chair. You can grow it to literally any size. Unlimited products, no office fit out costs. E-commerce, it's the largest growth market on the planet. There's no royalties or franchise fees, but there is eBay fees, or Amazon fees, etc. I'll go through those fees tonight. It's very low operating costs, because you don't need an office, you don't need a warehouse. If anyone's ever fitted out a store, an office, or a warehouse, or a restaurant, you know the costs that can be quite astronomical. Very good tax benefits. You can sell the businesses for capital, which means you take a niche out. So let's say you have a lot of pet products. You take the pet products out of one business, put them in another, get 12 months data on it, and then you can sell them off. We've sold them many times in Australia, Canada, USA, UK, Ireland, Spain, and you can do the same. No website unless you want one, no social media, no pay-per-click advertising, no Google advertising. You can build a business hobby or professional. So a hobby business makes less than the award wage. A professional business makes the award wage or more. Is that correct? Lincoln's an accountant down here, so he's going to check everything I say. Okay, so abundant free traffic. What is Amazon and eBay? It's simply this. It's abundant free traffic. So what I mean by that is, if you go, you can advertise in many places. A lot of people say, oh yeah, but eBay is expensive, and we'll go through the fees tonight. But look how many people you've got to view your items. So if you get a website, anyone who's got a website will know, if you just get a website, you're going to pretty much get zero traffic to it unless you've got some methodology in place to drive traffic. Whether that's social media, it's Google AdWords, it's Facebook marketing, whatever, you have to have some medium to get traffic to your website, otherwise it's just the drop in the ocean. Amazon and eBay is free abundant traffic. You can list something right now, and it costs you $0 to list it, and you get all this traffic to it. So eBay, as you can see here, up to, on the last data I've got, 177 million active users. In Australia, the latest data I can get is eBay's still way ahead. Amazon is growing, and it would be crazy not to think that Amazon could not grow a lot more than that. Australia's been quite slow to take it on, but you know, they are a Goliath, so we'll just sit back and watch. A lot of people say, well, should I sell on eBay? Should I sell on Amazon? Should I sell on my website? The answer is you should sell on all three, but not at the beginning. Master one. So there's over 8 million unique visitors on ebay.com.au. So any questions so far? It's always very quiet at the beginning, then I'll ramp up. Yep.
Shopify, what's that? How does that?
What is Shopify? Okay, so Shopify, if you want to sell stuff on your own website, you've got a choice of just buying a domain name, building that website, or the shortcut is you go buy a Shopify store and change your domain name to your Shopify store. It's just basically, it's a simple way to put your products on a website. So it's about $25 a month, and it goes up from there. So if you've got 10, 100, whatever products, 1,000, whatever, you can just start up a Shopify site and bingo, list them all on there. Now, the only thing is, because it's a website, you're going to get virtually no traffic to it unless you've got some methodology in place. I say this because a lot of people think, oh, just put a Shopify store, everyone on the planet will find it. No, they won't. Right. Anyone tried that? Right. So it's just, you've got to have some medium in place. Does that answer your question? Cool. Okay, so what we do, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this tonight, there's two ways of finding, first thing we're going to start with is product research. Because there's two ways of doing product research. You can research products, or you can research sellers to find their top selling products. And I'm a huge fan of that because you can find proven products. So what we do is we let everybody list everything on eBay, and then we come along and we find out what stuff is selling. And there's two things we want to look for: profit margins and velocity. Velocity is how many times an item sells per month. I'll refer to that tonight a lot. So we want profit margins times how many times an item sells. So we come along, we just look to see what's sticking. This is the child-friendly version, of course. So every business, most businesses on the planet all operate in the 80-20 rule. 80% of their revenue comes from only 20% of their products. And what I'm going to be teaching tonight is all about how to outsource everything. So you want to use outsourced VAs, and a VA is a virtual assistant. So we can get virtual assistants from $1 to $2 per hour, and they run the whole shebang for you, all the different tasks. So you master a task, then you outsource it. Now, when you run VAs, if they have to guess, there's a greater than 50% chance they'll screw it up. So everything is a yes or no. Very dialectic thinking. There's no but box. So when they come to you and say, yes, Neil, but, no, sorry, there's no but box. It's either yes or no. So everything I'm showing you tonight is certain numbers or KPIs, key performance indicators. So no guessing. Don't guess, only use data. All tasks must be duplicatable. If you learn to be the most whiz-bang product research person, the problem with that is you can't replace yourself unless you pay someone like $100,000 a year or plus. So you don't want to be someone like that. You want to make sure that you are duplicatable. So I really do believe in 2019, this is the glory days. It's never been easier to do these businesses. So today, there's no need to guess. You don't need any capital at all, as I'll show you tonight. It's very easy to outsource everything. Very easy to automate. The tools and software simply wasn't there 2 years ago that's available today. It's so much easier. You know, when I started off, I used to continually fly to the US. I used to go to like to the eBay events in Chicago, the eBay Live events. I used to go to the Channel Advisor Catalyst events in North Carolina, in the UK, in London, and that's the only way I could hang around with successful eBay sellers, so we could swap ideas. You don't need to do that anymore. The path literally has already been laid. So buyers today now are spending, on average, over $4,000 per annum, and that's keeps growing and growing and growing every month. It's never been that high. Buyers trust e-commerce more than ever. People prefer to buy with PayPal than they do with credit card, because they know if something goes wrong, they can just send it back, get their money back. So people trust the system much more than they do with credit cards. Over 90% of, this is a big thing, over 90% of sellers use best guess marketing. In other words, they're just winging it all. Over 90% of them. Now, so if you learn how to optimize listings, you can beat over 90% of the sellers. And if you look at the data, here's an example of one product. This particular product, the sellout number 10, has sold 659 of these, giving a total net revenue of 56,000, sorry, gross revenue of 56K, where the number one seller has done 2,089 and done 278K. If this person here tuned their listing, there's no reason they can't get up here. But they don't. Hardly anyone tunes listings. Hardly anyone. I find it quite amazing. So, there's loads of automation software out there. Yes?
The same time period?
Yes, exactly the same time period. 90 days. Yeah, a question at the back?
What do you mean by tuning?
Tuning is when you 30 days, you list an item, you optimize it when you list it. 30 days later, you come and look at your listing, you look at your competitor, and you compare. If you've outsold your competitor, you do nothing. If you haven't outsold, you make one adjustment. And it's really critical you do that, because what a lot of people do is they go 30 days later and make 5 adjustments, and you can't do that, because if you remember back to school days, there's a thing called statistical significance. And that means that if you run the same test again, there's a greater than 98% chance you'll get the same result. So if you make 2 changes, you don't know, was one good, one bad, which is why you must fully optimize first, then 30 days later tune. Okay, so there's loads of software. We're going to go through bits of it tonight that are pertinent and relevant. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's tons of software. If you can think of a task, you can either use software or you can use a virtual assistant. Today, we're blessed with third-party logistics companies, which means you don't have to fill up your house and your garage and your attic and everything else with inventory. If you want to carry inventory, I'm going to show you tonight how not to carry inventory, but if you do want to do inventory, you can send the inventory to these places, they hold it for you, then when the item sells, they pick it, pack it and ship it for you. So you don't have to drive to the post office, you can be in Paris and this is all happening for you. So, starting off, it's critical, like all businesses, to start with an exit strategy. Always build an exit strategy in case you want to sell the business. You have a big second benefit of doing this. If you build a business with an exit strategy, it means you build a business that works without you, totally runs without you. And of course the big bonus of that is you have a business that works without you, so you can have a life. So if you're going to sell the business, it must work without you. Because if someone's going to buy it, they're going to obviously investigate it, do their due diligence, and if you are an integral part of it, you're not going to get much money for it. It must be outgrowing the attrition rate. So you need to spend 10% of your profits on virtual assistants. So as you get bigger, your 10% grows and grows and grows. And that way you're always outdoing your attrition rate. Because so many people flatline their business. They might have 100 products, 1,000, 10,000, whatever, and their business is not growing anymore. And the reason why is because they've hit their attrition rate. Every business on the planet has an attrition rate. No product lasts forever. Same as eBay and Amazon. So your products are not going to last. Some products might last a month, some might last 10 years, but they're never going to last forever. So you always got to outdo your attrition rate. So you spend 10% of your profits on virtual assistants. Then you'll always get that exponential growth. Keep clear records. Use an automated accounting system. We use Xero, but there's plenty of other ones out there. That's the one we use, which is spelled Xero. You can sell the business for 1 to 4 times the annual profit. Last one we sold it was 2.8 times. And of course, the 10%. Always spend 10% on virtual assistants, which will cost you $1 to $2 per hour. All right, so this is another place a lot of people get bogged down with. So many people come to me and say, oh, I'm not a Windows expert, I'm not a Chrome expert, I'm not an eBay expert, I'm not this, you know, what a Word expert, Excel expert. Well, you don't need to be. Like, take this one, iPad for Dummies. Who here can use an iPad? Pretty much everyone, like most people, right? How many people here know everything in this book? Probably no one, right? So the point of this is, to use an iPad, you don't need to know any of that, hardly any of that. If you get stuck, just go find a 10-year-old, they'll sort you out. Or maybe even a 5-year-old these days. The same with a phone. You don't need to read this book to run an iPhone. All right, you've only got to do, if you can do say 5 things on an iPhone, you've got pretty much got it cracked. You know, make a call, receive a call, send an SMS, receive an SMS, take a photo. If you can do that, you pretty much got it cracked, and everything else is just a bonus. It's the same with all this. Do not get bogged down trying to master Windows, to try to master Word and master all this stuff, because you know that procrastination, you can either have profit or procrastination. You can't have both. And tonight you'll see this. The barriers to entry, this is another huge thing that bogs people down. Everything in life, doesn't matter what you do, there's barriers to entry. As soon as you start any task, you see it's a great idea, then you start going, and instantly, almost instantly, there's a barrier to entry, there's a hurdle. And the more hurdles you get through, the more your competitors leave behind. Because most people might tackle 1 hurdle, maybe 2, maybe 3, and then they go and look for the next shiny new object. If you just got the tenacity to just keep going, you'll leave so many of your competitors behind. And of course, that's how movies are made. You know, movies are all about, you know, what's a movie? Star Wars, you know, when Star Wars, you know, Luke Skywalker starts off, he gets given this grandiose thing, then straight away there's a hurdle there, and anyway, and that's how they make movies. It's just how everyone gets through the hurdle. So, barriers to entry, awesome. Every time you see a barrier to entry, that's an awesome thing to find, because you know a lot of your competitors are not going to get through it, i.e. churning listings. So, let's start with the foundations. First thing is, how do you register for eBay? Someone have a question? Because someone once came to me and said, oh, you never showed me how to sign up. Well, there you go. It's right there. Can't go wrong. So any questions so far before it's all quiet so far? Right. So that's how you register. Now, after you do that, the next thing you should do is you should go to Site Preferences and turn on the Out of Stock function. And what this does is allows you to keep the social proof. So when you go onto eBay, you can see how many times an item is sold. Now, if you don't turn it on, people won't know how many are sold. So here's an example. This particular item here is sold 1,386 times. If you do not have the out of stock function turned on, as soon as you sell the last one, you lose all that sales history, which is your social proof. All gone forever. If you do have it turned on, if you sell the last one, it goes to 0, but the listing does not end. And social proof is very, very powerful. Just like you go past a Chinese restaurant at night, it's got 50 people in it, the one next door's got none. Which one do you choose? It's very powerful. Everyone clear on that? All good? All right. Then open up a second eBay account. Always have at least one spare eBay account. This becomes your purchasing account. So whenever you want to buy something, you just go and use that to purchase with. Sellers cannot, for the last, I think, 6 years, eBay stopped it. eBay sellers can only leave positive feedback. So your spare account has always got 100% positive feedback. Around 40% of the people you buy from will leave you positive feedback. So then if anything goes wrong, you can jump to your spare eBay account, park the other one, and all your negative feedbacks drop off after 12 months. You can also use it to sell your business. So if you've got a lot of pet products, as an example, you can take all those pet products, drop them in your spare eBay account, and bingo, it's up and running. So it's 100% guaranteed feedback, negative feedback's deleted after 12 months. And now, you don't need, a lot of people when they start, they think, oh, I've got to maintain 100%. Don't. If you want to try and maintain 100, first thing you need to do is go to your doctor, sign up for some more blood pressure medication, because you'll need it. Because every day you'll get out of bed, you'll open up your computer, and you're, oh my God, I've got 99.9, holy crap, that's terrible. No, it's not. It's just, eBay knows every professional seller gets negative feedback, everybody. And all you got to do is be average. Or as as I said before, it's like that old saying about how fast you need to be to outrun a lion, just faster than your friend. All right, and it's the same deal. You just got to be average or a little bit better. Okay, so you need 25. You should have. You don't need. You should have at least 25 feedback when you get started, because it looks a lot better when you sell something if you've got at least 25 feedback. And you don't have to, but to get 25 feedback, it's not hard.